Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Marketing Minute. I'm your host, Adam Small, and with me today again is Mr. Douglas Carr.
How are you, sir?
Doing great, and you?
I am really having a blast.
Awesome. In the last time we had you on, we kind of made reference to this blog post about because we were talking about the girl with the steam coming out of her ears and all that stuff. So today I want to talk about this blog post because it's actually a really good article.
We'll talk about the girl with steam coming out of her ears.
Yes, I want to talk about her. No, it's actually a really good article, and I think it's one that's really relevant to real estate agents. And the title of your article is Rant, Who Owns Your Domain?
Yeah.
And, the basic premise of it is, and this happens with so many things, but I see it a lot in real estate, where the real estate agent will sign up with a company to do a website for them.
Yep.
And then they don't actually end up owning their domain. The company ends up owning their domain.
Yeah.
And so apparently this recently happened to a customer of yours. And, you wrote a rant about it because it makes it so much harder for the real estate agent, not in my case, or for your customer to do anything if they want to move on.
Yeah.
Right?
One of the things that I said in this article too was don't think about it as something like nefarious, that this agency wasn't trying to be evil in any way, shape, or form. It
Right.
made their lives easier.
Right.
So they basically, the company, in this case, it was an IT group. So this IT group was going to take care of their email and, their domain,
The hosting,
yeah,
everything,
all of that
right?
stuff. And so they said, yeah, just sign over, go ahead and click here or whatever. We'll take over the domain and then we can administer all of this. And so
Right.
it made their lives easier.
Right. It made it easier for them to set everything up
Yep.
for the customer, to get it operational, and if anything were to occur later on, they were able to just get right in and fix it without any problems.
Exactly.
So it's not a nefarious thing. They're not going, hey, I'm stealing your domain and holding it hostage.
Exactly. But the practical part of it is that it is holding it hostage.
Exactly.
And so I gave a couple of examples. I said, let's say you had a dispute with the company over billing.
I'm going to turn your service off.
Yeah.
Oh, and you want your domain? No, I don't think
the domain's
so.
in my, and so in this example, what happened was they took the domain, put it on their own registration.
Right.
And then they changed there's basically 3 key records with a domain. There's the owner,
Right.
there's the administrator, and then there's the tech contact. Most people just say fill it all in the same thing, right?
Right.
These people did too.
Right.
The problem is that they filled it all in with their company's domain.
Right.
And so technically they owned the domain, not my client.
Exactly.
And now they came back and they said that's not the case on paper, in our legal paperwork, in our contract and everything else. You own it. And my point is I don't care what the paperwork says. If the IRS sued and pulled all of your resources,
This would not show up as an asset.
exactly, it would go with them.
Right.
And now
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. It would show up for the tech companies.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't show up for the customer.
Exactly.
Right.
And so the customer would lose control.
Right.
My problem with it is that there's a workaround. And the workaround is that you have 3 different email addresses.
Owner, admin, and technical. And they can
Exactly.
be one of the other two, just as long as they're not owner.
Yeah.
And it'll work.
Exactly. So the owner can remain whoever owns the domain.
Right.
The admin could have been the billing, so it
Right.
could have been the finance person at the IT group.
Right.
And then the tech could have been the tech at the IT group.
Exactly.
And all of this would have been great. Now, they got really offended when I said something, and I told them, I said, I'm not trying to be a jerk.
Right.
I'm just trying to protect my client. That's all.
Exactly.
And that's that if you don't own your domain, and there's an easy way for you guys listening to do this. Go to GoDaddy.com/whois.
WHOIS.
Yep. And you can look up your domain that, your site is hosted on.
Right.
And it's going to tell you who the registrant is. Now, there's an exception there that I didn't write about in the post, and that's that if you have privacy turned on,
Right.
they won't see anything. But
Right.
but you'll see that. You'll see that privacy is turned on.
Right.
Most people don't turn that on.
Right.
But the problem is if you go to your domain
Exactly.
and you see somebody else's email address in the registration,
Then you don't own it, right? It's as simple as that.
Technically, you don't.
Right.
And so that's the problem is that I see all the time turnover with marketing agencies, IT groups, subcontractors, everything else.
Even businesses where they have the tech guy do it, but the tech guy doesn't register it for the business. They just put their name on it. I've seen that happen.
We had a pest control company that we worked with that they had an employee that registered all of their domains. The employee left and took them with.
Right.
And they had to sue to get them back. And they had to sue because they were all in his name. Had it been in their name,
and he didn't want to give them back. He
did not want to give
disgruntled
them back.
for one reason or another, right?
And so it's a really, really important thing here that, by the time you blog, build a website, work on your site
you're
for
building
years,
an entire presence and persona online. You're investing a lot of time and money and effort into this.
It would be like remodeling an apartment.
Right.
Right?
By the time you're good and done with it, yeah.
Somebody else owns that apartment.
Right.
So they can kick you out and it's theirs.
Right. Right.
And so I just can't say it. And again, don't, if you go do a Whois and you see that it's your agency on there, don't get mad.
Don't fly off the handle.
Yeah, don't
just
fly off
get
the
it
handle.
corrected.
Just definitely tell them, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. I'll add you as an admin and a tech, but you need to have my email address as the owner.
Now, along those lines, right? One of the reasons they do it, the companies do this, is because of the ability to easily administer the account, to log in and change a DNS setting or change a setting.
There's good reasons
domain,
why they want
right?
access. Yeah.
So, in particular, a good way around that is like with a service like GoDaddy and their domain registration, they actually have where you can share that administration ability with other companies. So you can own it and you can say, yeah, this person here, they can administer it for me. And it's a super easy thing to do. So, if you're using GoDaddy in particular, and I'm not affiliated with them, I buy from them, but I'm not affiliated, just to put that out there.
They're fast and cheap.
Right. They're fast and cheap. But so if you're affiliated or if you're using them, it's super easy. There's no reason not to, for you not to be the owner and somebody else to not be able to log in and just go in and change it. It's
That's
as simple as that.
It's no reason. And so I didn't argue with this IT group. I just said, we're changing it.
Right.
That's it.
So
no hard feelings. It's just not going to go that way.
Exactly. And I think that most other domain registrars out there have some method of allowing this as well. So there's really no reason for any IT company, anybody other than you, to own your domain. It just simply shouldn't happen.
No, absolutely.
So now they should be able to administer it, but not own it.
Yeah, and there's all the problems, right? There's the problems that if they let it lapse, if they don't, maybe they have a cash flow problem and they didn't pay it on time. Or
they didn't realize it.
Yeah, this client was getting a renewal every year, and the renewal was, I think it was like $40 per domain.
It's a little on the high side.
That's on the high side. Yeah. Now, these guys said, well, we charge that because we actually administer it. And I'm like, well, they pay you an hourly fee to administer it too. So you're kind of double dipping there,
Well, and honestly, there isn't much to do to administer a domain once it's set up.
Well, that's why I threw that in. Every year they get a renewal. Well, on GoDaddy, I can buy 10 years.
Exactly.
And I don't have to worry about it for 10 years.
Exactly.
And I can set up auto renew where it covers my credit card.
Happens like magic.
Yeah. And so everybody out there, just, all of these things, you just want to make sure that they're in your control, so make sure you own your own domain.
Absolutely. Have to agree. Buy your own domain. Any other thoughts on that, Doug? Any final thoughts?
No, use your domain for your email address too.
That's a whole different story. We're actually going to talk about that one too, but not in this episode. Thanks so much for listening to the Real Estate Marketing Minute, guys. We do appreciate it. If you like what you hear, don't forget to like and or subscribe. Thanks so much and have a great day.
Yeah, do a review.
Do a review too. Yes.